Hello YouTube, hello Twitch. Welcome to another episode of my Pop-Up Dungeon Let's Play series. This is Northstar. I hope you're well. Viewers in YouTube, I know it's been since the last video. I never forget a series, and this one in particular has been bugging me to come back to. I've just been overwhelmed just even trying to keep up with the pace of new videos for Hearthstone, and also I've been doing some dailies, just logging in Lord of the Rings Online, trying to get around to some more of that, and Soul Singularity. They all have progression, which that's a trap, isn't it, right? Daily progression, it's stupid. I really wish the devs more games. You want to do progression? Fine, make it a weekly, make it a monthly login. Dailies are just designed to waste your time and get you to spend as much time as humanly possible playing their stupid game, and they figure that'll get you to spend more money on them. Whatever. Here, this is an oldie, but a goodie game. Not that old. Doesn't get enough attention. Either way. And for those on Twitch who've not seen it before, check this game out. It's pretty cool. And there's so many things you can do with it. You can create custom game modes, make it harder, make it easier. I have one here actually. Can you see some of it here? These are things mostly from grinding up, like ship upgrades, part of the game. Generic. I did disable the set difficulty and turn the difficulty substantially higher than it would normally be. Extra companions. I got a Goliath, a Fortis, and a Popup, which greatly offsets the difficulty more than I wanted to. Yeah, I'll mess around with different things. In the future, I may just go with pure companions. It makes for quicker battles, and these have been too easy. I thought, oh, epic battles, lots of characters. Yeah, so my NPC companions level up with the enemies. Anyways, if you don't remember, I was here on the ship. Somehow, not what was expected when I went into the holograph deck, I guess. Right. Yeah, holograph, that's what they call it here. It's Star Trek-y. You exit the holograph, and the pieces of the ship fall in to form the adjutant's main hull. Nothing seems out of place, but a sliver of something is caught in the roof of your thoughts. You find your tongue moving in your mouth. Something metallic hangs from your palate. The pull tab of a zipper. Then you hear a noise. Someone else is on the ship. Just went through that. I don't know what that's a reference to. Everything in this game seems to be a reference to something. The wall ahead of you suddenly splits open. It's a doorway into a dark room that's definitely not a part. This was after some battles and stuff. There was storytelling in the battles. With adjutant's blueprints. A hooded figure broods in the middle of the chamber, illuminated by the light of its own eyes. Begin dialogue. Rumble. This is Jane, the cleric, and the party face. You seem angry. You're dead right, I'm angry. I thought we were having fun. Fun? First you rewire and hijack my ship. Now you won't let me out of the simulation. And how are you so certain this isn't reality? You look around. Let's see. I'm talking about what looks like a bodybuilding Jawa, standing in utter darkness, and a room of my ship that doesn't exist. And I'm pretty sure this isn't air I'm breathing. Snaps his fingers, and suddenly you're on the bridge of the adjutant. Is that better? Still not buying it. You may come to learn that the distinction between reality and fantasy is not quite as binary as you seem to think it is. That's a running theme in this game. Look, if you're gonna start spin truce, how about you start with your name? Certainly. You've earned it. My name is Julius Mavenbolt. That's the least realistic thing I've heard yet. Knew that was coming. Anyway, I didn't come to teach. I came to play. And since I'm generous, Space GM, I'll even let you choose which mini-campaign you'd like to embark upon. You may choose the path of conflict, the path of puzzles, or we could just play a game of D&D. I've done the last of those options too many times. There are achievements to be gained from the path of conflict or puzzles. No, I'm pretty sure I know how the puzzles work this time. That's not too exciting, especially if I'm not really figuring it out anymore, because I've pretty much figured it out before. This should be the path. conflict. D&D, dice and decisions. So which will it be? I'll choose under one condition. They leave me alone afterwards. Agreed. For a while, at least. Now, how do you want to do this? Yeah, this is definitely inspired by the GM from Critical Role. Good guy. I'd like someday to have an audience and even to try and do Dungeons and Dragons for a live audience like those guys do. It's awesome, but I had trouble finding a consistent Dungeons and Dragons group when I was staying with my mom, being disabled with long COVID and unable to work, and knowing the government was fighting long COVID cases left and right. They've gotten better about it. Now they're finally accepting long COVID cases. I had a big fight with her, and just as I was actually starting to apply Social Security, finally knowing that science and burden proof has become so great that the government can't deny this is a real disease anymore. I mean, they spent decades trying to deny ME/CFS was a real disease, so it's not surprising they do it to long COVID. Our government always serves the billionaire class, and it's evil. But anyways, she was threatening to hurt me. I moved out, stopped staying with her, because, yeah, it's a fight where she threatened to hit me. But I guess there are worse things than someone threatening to hit you, like my current roommate in my apartment that I'm in a family cabin away from, threatening to murder me because of a cough. Someone threatening to hit you because of a fight where you tell them hard truths, in this case, no, your doctors are not trying to kill you, is a lot more understandable than someone threatening to, like, shoot you or beat you to death with their fists because you have a cough that you've had your whole life that you can't do anything about. Oh. I've been around a lot of shitty, garbage people in my life. But if I can get settled, get Social Security, maybe I'll find somewhere I can do Dungeons and Dragons with the group. I don't know. Maybe. I doubt it. It's tough. There aren't enough people play it. Everyone in America is, we must work 3 jobs and make more money. And, you know, the billionaires love this because the more jobs people work, the weaker the labor market is. If one person works 3 jobs, then everyone else has fewer remaining jobs to compete for, and so wages tend to be lower. The only way you win in the end is by crushing the billionaires. Take away their assets, nationalize their industries. Yes, the Constitution may try and prevent that. A government that doesn't serve the people anymore has lost any legitimacy. Revise the freaking Constitution. We're allowed to do that. We're allowed to throw it out and have a new constitutional convention if we want. The Constitution was run by literal slave owners. And you should watch Tad Stummer's YouTube channel. I guess I wasn't watching him when I did this before. He talks about that kind of stuff. Anyways, let's choose the path of conflict, because there's an achievement for it. I hope this wasn't a mistake, because I am tired and I haven't played with these characters for a while, so I don't remember too much about their... Oh, no, just trying to examine their skill sheets and stuff. Alright, let's see. We got Jane, the only elite. I didn't even get her to master yet. Life cleric.
There's still magic left.
James, the master fire adept.
To look.
I mean,
heart knows only virtue.
Hrothgar, the elite crusader. Part of the problem here is that this occurred... Testing 1, 2, 3. Sorry, just... Wow, it seems like my headset is not as loud as it used to be. It's probably slowly dying. A lot of use, but nothing lasts forever. I may also be really tired. These were training missions, and I mean, maybe I should have just done more exploration first, but... Because I knew I was going to have to do this, and I have to do a really hard battle here. Because I turned the difficulty way up, and I'm also trying to do achievements. You know, time is money, friends. Brock Stonewall, the legendary Earth Mage. Yeah, I've invested heavily in him because, well, he's super durable, so I've given him more attack skill. They'll way get the enemies to somewhat prioritize killing him if he can do substantial damage to them. Otherwise, I mean, there's some degree they'll aggro on what's closest to them. But they do seem to have some sort of threat system built into the AI.
Greetings and
He's the party
salutations.
tank, and Ulrich the Master Paladin. Like a Paladin, kind of tanky, has some healing. Tanky now. I'm thinking about the stupid insult people, the right communists. Oh, you're a tanky. Yeah, not all communists are tankies. Technically, the term originally meant those who supported rolling tanks into Hungary, but the Hungarian government was allowing fascist gangs to roam the countryside of Hungary. Fascist militias, not gangs. Gangs are probably like, people think of inner cities. Like, think like, Proud Boys types. To roam the countryside and murder communists. That's what they were doing. The government was very squarely trying to move away from communism and return to the fascist roots. Hungary was one of the countries that joined the Axis powers in World War II, and so they were given to the Soviets as a puppet state in the Yalta Conference. Which, no, the Soviets didn't just roll in and say, we're not leaving, we're taking over these countries. No, Churchill gave countries to the Soviets. And in exchange, the Soviets gave countries to Allies, with no regard for self-determination in either case. There were countries who ended up in the Allied camp who wanted to be in the Soviet camp. Most importantly, Greece, where the partisans who helped kick out the fascists were communists. And the monarchists were deeply unpopular, but Churchill came in and used violence to suppress the communists and keep monarchists in power, including literally unleashing a Nazi garrison force in Athens on communist partisans. And then later, after having the government make a deal with Yugoslavia in exchange for Western loans, because Yugoslavia didn't remain the Soviet bloc, kind of did a third way thing, to return Greek partisans who fled over the border into Yugoslavia, and then they executed them. They're monsters, the Greek monarchists, and Churchill was a piece of shit, honestly, who does not deserve to be seen as a hero of World War II. He gassed villages earlier in his career, like before he became leader of the UK. He gassed a Soviet village when the British invaded the Soviet Union. At the time he was Minister of War or something, and he ordered the gassing of village to test a nerve gas agent the British had been working on. Yeah, he was a piece of shit. FDR was the hero of World War II, but people won't allow FDR to be the hero because he had this left-wing economic policy, a New Deal. So they've tried to make Churchill the hero instead, and Churchill doesn't deserve it. But anyways, yeah, so Churchill divided up Europe. He drew lines on the map, arbitrary lines on the map, just like the, colonial lines on the map when the British Empire collapsed and the French Empire. And yeah, so countries that had strongly right-wing leanings, who had been part of the aggressors in World War II, let's remember, like Hungary, were forced in the Soviet camps, and countries that had strong left-wing leanings who would have almost certainly joined the Soviet camp if they'd been allowed to without British interference, like Greece, and to some degree Italy, because the partisans who kicked out Mussolini tended to be communists and Democrats, like Republicans, but a lot of communists. So Greece and Italy probably would have ended up Soviet camp, whereas Hungary would have almost certainly ended up siding with the Allies if given the choice. But yeah, tanks marched in. Anyone who supported that's a tanky. That's where the insult comes from. Anyways, I've talked too much. I'm kind of loopy and tired. Enough history lessons. Trial by combat. Location, Giga City. Difficulty, Ascension 57. Someone was like, oh, you can set it to Ascension 300, but this is, oh god. I don't want to hear. This is hard enough. Encounters 3 boss. It'd be harder if I didn't have the companions. Difficulty offset, hard. Makes it more difficult relative to where I would be in the curve before. In fact, that was Ascension 53, that fight, and that wasn't the easiest if I recall. A city of shoulder-high buildings files in from the sky. You straddle the streets without doing splits. Something crunches beneath your heel, and you're relieved to find it's just a tree. Forget butterflies. A misstep on this scale could set off a full Mothra effect. Let's blow stuff up, shall we? Think Godzilla. We're Godzilla scaled, and we're in the middle of a city. We might just be about to meet a Godzilla. Friend of yours, Goo? You point at the overgrown fruit snack. I'll pretend I didn't hear that. What's this? You made me huge. I did nothing of the sort. Not all sentients conform to your scale. This realization is your first step into a much smaller world. Fine, but this was supposed to be a trial by combat. I could have just stayed on the adjutant and swatted flies. Believe it or not, the streets tremble with the footfalls of kaiju, and you're here to save the city. Your elsewhere average stature makes you a hero of third act Sentai show proportions. What? I don't watch enough Japanese stuff to know what a third act Sentai show would mean. Just try to keep the demolition down to a minimum. I'll try. If I have to take cover, I'll make sure it's behind a social media company's offices. Are you kidding me? Cloud damage is my middle names. Right. I don't think it matters. Not a real world they created, right? Maybe. 3 bosses. I think it's supposed to be only 1. Why is it 3? Donkzilla. Power level 7503. Okay, it's got some armor pen. That's not good. By some, I mean 933, so phenomenal. Health, defense, evasion. Oof, this thing could be tough. And its abilities are Bongo Bananas. Reduces the mobility and stability, which stability protects against decreases in mobility of targets a trap, so it's set out, and if you try and move through it, it'll fall on your rear, basically. Wind Up Punch has a charge for a turn. Well, that's easy, just stay away from it. Extra blunt power, oh, and give Daunt ability. So actually it's no, it's not an attack, it's just a winding up one. Giga Mule Kick if you just moved. Pretty much it all. 5,000 damage. Shotgun barrels. It's a substantial area of effect. And Curb Appeal. Enemy deals damage to target self. Mass reduction, stability, and mobility. But a big heal. Great! And then this. A Celestial Fury, a Sidereal? A lot of this stuff refers to Japanese mythology or anime tropes. I guess the makers of this game had a lot to do with each. I mean, now I've watched anime or two. The Familiar Myth, also known as Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in Dungeon? Jobless Reincarnation. I'm trying to remember what its alternate name is. I don't like these names. They're stupid, clickbaity sounding names in English. The Familiar Myth sounds a lot more decent. Belcornell's actually a really nice guy, and he does not really go around hitting on girls, so the title isn't even appropriate. Thank goodness. But I think girls are always drawn to him, and he's always shyly running away from them because, yeah, he's really shy. This is a lot of area of effect damage. I don't see any armor pen though, so I'll be probably okay with this. If used 8 or more APN abilities. Okay, maybe not with that kind of raw damage. 9,000. Purging Light. Spell buff. Potency per... Oh no. Oh no. So it can purge. Buffs. Not actually purge, it's dispel. Purge would actually be different if I remember. I'm tired. Hrothgar's not even at full health. What? Why is he not at full health? Probably got sloppy in the last battle. Compared to my party, this guy's up massive damage. I do have the Fortis, who has power level comparable, and Gouliet, and the Popup. Of course, I don't want Gouliet to die, but there's Fortis and Papa, and I guess I have 2 pans. Why is this so... I can't hear this stupid game. Most games would be deafening at this. Levels. And meanwhile I have something uploading. Making the computer game pretty hot because it's multitasking. CWSD can be used around the camera, that's right. This headset is definitely dying. I hate it. Nothing ever lasts though. Long enough. Can attack in a line with the ground wave. Right down the street. Tortoise there. It's a very slow moving but heavily armored tortoise, hence the Fortis. Like fort, what's tortoise? Figure that out. Kappa could get whatever comes on the street, potentially. Like these things. I know how effective any of my attacks will be, so maybe I get those 2 up there. Alright.
Alright, it's my job. Time for some.
When did I upgrade Brock's mobility? He's actually not the fastest by default. It says default amount of movement, but it's up to 10 movement. Oh, party mobility plus 75%. Because of the jetpacks. That's right. Anyone's fast enough with the jetpack. Excuse me. He's got unparable for ranged attack. It's earth magic, I guess, of sort. Summon a trance, so earth and nature, really. He's a mix of the 2. Mountain guard. That's strength. Pears, by the way, are one of the food that produces... If I remember correctly, I looked it up once. It was one of the highest numbers of calories per acre of any plant. So, if, you know, we're headed towards a age of food shortages and mass starvation because of long COVID, we should be planting pears in advance. They require quite a bit of water, unfortunately, though. And honestly, that's probably one of the things that crop yields the most is water shortages. Droughts. You need people on Earth for what's going to happen to the planet in terms of it collapsing because of climate change, because billionaires keep funding politicians that do nothing about climate change, especially in the U.S. And the Republicans are the worst with this, but the Democrats are complicit and take the money too. We need to get past the 2-party system. And I doubt that's going to happen. Instead, America's going to keep sliding into fascism instead of tearing up a 2-party system, which is basically the way elections are done, right down into the state laws and stuff. And yeah, it's... I don't think it's actually Constitution doesn't spell out this style of elections. Is it? Pretty sure it comes actually... It was left up to the states, and the states will settle on this. But yeah, the way elections done, first past the post voting, is terrible. The Constitution, yeah, didn't anticipate any political parties, though. Supposedly. At least the Founding Fathers claim they didn't. I'm not sure I buy it. Because they're liars about so many other things. Alright. Let's see. She can tase. Oh, now it gets kind of loud. Alright. Let's turn this down one notch. Could hear like that sound like a train or something. It's supposed to be like a Tokyo-ish city, I suppose, so it's probably a subway. Tease. Blessed Essence. Sacred Protection. So many abilities. Where was it? Somewhere in here. There's a Resurrect. Bushstalker. Holy Promise. Sanctify. Divine Resurrect. 3 uses, that's right. Comes from Arcastic, so I can't even give her more than those 3. Where's the classic rare? Like a, the name implies it's Russian or Eastern Orthodox style of like religious dress. I don't know.
I do not seek glory.
Yeah. So he needs line of sight. Most of his abilities are short range. That's right.
You're not gonna live. Let's make this quick.
I'd probably use it. Let him sit back and save up AP. These two can move fast with their Divine Fervor. This is actually a reason to put him further back and have him cover that distance when the enemy gets closer. I've often put him forward and just rush the enemy. That's probably not actually a good idea.
My wrath.
Orc's got a, where is it? Thought he had a heal. For nearby characters. Oh yes, Divine Heal. This is... Any lures allies HP below 30%, target damaged, 92% chance to heal. Yeah, it's not that powerful yet. I haven't done enough training in the holograph. Now I have to do this freaking battle. Orc, named after a religious person I met once. Good guy. So I'll tribute to him. Right. Hrothgar is like Nordic Icelandic sounding. It's just a random name, but Ulrich named after someone. That one's new. Let's keep Juliet well back. Though she can heal. Prime members with Congeal. Guess congeal their wounds. Congeal blood. And James can summon a phoenix.
There's a storm.
Oh, I just realized that could be understood as a Harry Potter reference. It's not. James came more from like an alias that I sometimes have used in games. And there's an element I'm probably most easily identified with. It would be fire and lightning. I don't know. Sometimes I'll fit myself in as a fire or an air mage. I played D&D. I did a storm cleric once. Fire and lightning do match my personality. At least they did before I got sick. Long Code of Energy went through the 4. Not so much like anger as like... I've been known to be righteous anger about injustices in the world, so much as like energy and dynamicism. Determination. Fire in your heart kind of thing. Probably don't want everyone too clustered up.
Never turn your face from
Put the tank a little further back.
I do not
This, so they're all spread out. Is this enough? Is she close enough to sanctify? Or yes, she is.